Back in the garage, let's talk about timing gears. I'm holding a standard one-piece timing gear set that you would find in any small block, big block, and maybe similarly in certain chain-driven V6 engines, but the concept is basically the same. A gear that is bolted to, secured to your camshaft and timed to your crankshaft. Now, just for illustrative purposes, one of the things that I do before I do any assembly is take a contrasting marker, paint marker, Sharpie, something, and highlight the timing marks so that I have a better visual effect and can see clearly in any situation. Now, so back to this timing set. Again, small block, big block, Ford, Chevrolet, Mopar, doesn't matter. These are what commonly are found when it comes to setting the timing. The idea is to index your camshaft with your crankshaft in such a manner that the corresponding piston, in this case the Ford, number one, will be at top dead center in its bore. Once you do that, you are perfectly fine and perfectly able to stab your distributor and adjust it accordingly in there. I'm going to jump ahead and give you a tip. After looking at it and editing this video, I realized it probably would be important to point out something. We're talking about timing, of course, and mention that the dots are supposed to be lined up because they will index the cam and the crank to the number one cylinder being at top dead center. That's exactly true, but it would be top dead center on the exhaust stroke, and this is where a lot of us, me included, many years ago, the first time I did this, make our mistake. When I installed the cam gear and the crank gear and timed them with the chain, I installed them exactly as you see right here. I also installed the distributor at number one. As a result, I was literally 180 degrees out on the distributor and couldn't understand why the engine was backfiring and popping and sputtering, but enough about that. Some of you out there, I know you've done this too. Here is what you should do. Well, before we get to what you should do, on a V8, particularly small block Chevy, 1843657-2, firing order in particular, this configuration and timing will set up number 6 cylinder. But what you want to install the distributor in at number 1 compression stroke. Currently, this is exhaust stroke. So before you install the distributor, what you want to do is rotate that crankshaft 1 full revolution. Notice now that the bottom crank pulley is still at 12 o'clock relative to it being a clock at 12 hours. Man, I'm stumbling all over my words right now trying to explain this. The cam gear is now at the top, 12 o'clock. Now, number 1 is on the compression stroke. This is where you install your distributor. If you do this with a proper amount of retard on your distributor, I can practically guarantee every time you hit the key, it's going to start up right away and not pop and backfire through the carburetor, singeing your eyebrows off your face. If you don't believe it, you should have seen me about 40 years ago. But anyway, that's how, yeah, it actually happened. Yeah, so anyway, but that's how you do it. Before you install your distributor, rotate your crankshaft 180 degrees and you will be at number 1, top dead center, when you install your distributor at the number 1 post. And your engine should fire properly. Now, again, any situation, this works just absolutely fine. Maybe you've heard about advancing and retarding as it relates to engine performance. Of course, there is a degree of advancing and retarding that can be done even from the distributor. Ford's mount in front, Mopars and Chevrolets will mount in the back, and once they are stabbed in their proper locations, you have the ability to adjust the timing to advance and retard to a degree. However, engine builders and manufacturers have discovered over the years that by advancing and retarding the camshaft relative to the crankshaft position can give you a particular mechanical advantage. I don't know if, years ago I heard old school guys tell me that you could take a standard gear and simply move it a tooth one way or another. In this case, that would be retard, or move it right there relative to the dot, which would represent advance. Don't recommend you doing that, and the reason being is, think of a circle as being 360 degrees. There are roughly 44 teeth in this gear, which represents mathematically each tooth a little over 8.18 degrees of timing advance or retard. That can be kind of catastrophic. So if anyone is telling you just to do that, I recommend don't listen to them at all. Instead, what manufacturers came up with is understanding that when the indexing takes place with your timing gear, of course you have your center hole here where the cam bolt would be located, and here is your indexing hole. What is readily available at most auto parts stores instead are bushing sets such as these that you see right here, cam bushing sets, and I don't know if it's focused real well. Let's see if we can zoom in a bit more clearly. And in this case, this is for Ford. Of course, you could get them for Chevrolet or for Dodge. And as you see, they go from 0 to 4, 6, and even 8 degrees advance, depending on which bushing that you choose to insert into yon keyway. Once that's done, the direction that you turned it in, the direction that you turn the side to, will advance or retard the cam to the specific number of degrees that you choose according to the size of the bushing. And you can see that each one has a different amount of mass and a different offset in it. So that's one of the methods if you're using this standard type of camshaft gear in your build. Let's zoom back out. There we go. Now, here's what we've chosen to do on our build to get the same effect. This is the one from Speedmaster, and as you can see, it is essentially a two-piece gear set, one outer ring and one inner ring that's bolted to the camshaft itself. And what I want you to notice is that the gear itself is, come on, get my controls, there we go. Just as all the other gear sets, you're going to have your indexing marks and a small block forward fashion. Dot on the camshaft is going to line up with the dot on the crankshaft. Same thing for Chevrolet and for Mopar. The difference with this particular set, this Speedmaster set, and let's zoom in on it. is there is a second set of markings. Now this says part number PC3205-1 for the Ford small block 302-351. Now zoom in a little bit more. Now here's where the beauty of this particular set comes in. When you buy the set, of course, it comes with the adjustable gear that you see right here, already marked and already degreed right here, plus an index mark that you see at the top of the gear. When properly aligned, as you see right there, if we were to go back up here, align the 0 mark with the index mark that you see right here, that would indicate that our cam is installed, quote unquote, straight up. Now notice nothing has changed relative to the crankshaft and the cam gear. Now we're choosing to run an advanced situation on this particular build, and I'm hoping it's going to work out, considering we've taken a lot of weight out of this car. So notice to the left here we have the advanced side, to the right we have the retard, and again our index mark. So we're going to go past the 2 and align it with the 4. Now the kits, in this case the Speedmaster kit and any other manufacturer, will come with this handy dandy tool that will allow you to insert it into particular keyways here or 180 degrees opposite there to do the adjustment on the gear to advance or retard your cam. Once that's done, all you need to do is lock down all of your screws. Now they recommend about 15 pounds, and yep, I'm using the kind of thing, just snug it. There was a thought that I should use some type of fastener, liquid Loctite basically, on it, but in reading, a lot of recommendations said don't, just snug it down to the recommended 15 pounds. Because the other issue is, if you ever want to take this down, take this apart, in this case, now if you ever want to adjust this, you want to be able to take this off, to loosen these, to make the adjustment without having to worry about breaking the mechanical bond that would exist between that type of thread locker solution that you put on there. So just don't worry about it. Tighten it to 15, or in this case I just went one time on it, and in theory our cam is now advanced, not quite 4 degrees, but close to 4 degrees. So I may go in and adjust that just a little bit more to get it straight up at 4 degrees. Okay, gee whiz, I think I read the part number wrong. That should be this set. There we go. This set, PC2205-1, in case I read that. PCE 264.1025. I'll get it right sooner or later. Now, the next thing that they always recommend when you do this is to pull out the good old degree wheel and degree your camshaft. And yeah, we got one. And we are going to do that and hook that up and check our numbers to be sure that we are indeed at 4 degrees advanced. Now, if we had the money, and this were Chevrolet, one of the coolest things that's available, Chevrolet has a timing cover that's literally split so that you can literally take off the top half to get in here and make an adjustment on a gear. But this is going to be a Ford, and you know the Ford got to have a complete housing on it, which is going to cover it up. And then we're actually going to have a motor plate on here. So that's going to make it not so much of an easy process if we ever want to go in and change the advance on the cam gear. But no worries, we're going to go with it like it is. And it does require us taking it apart, but that's what we'll do. After all, how else are you going to have fun? But there you go, quick and dirty. How to do the adjustable cam gear. And hope you got something from it. Stick around. The next time we're going to have the degree wheel on here, and we'll show you all the fumbling and bumbling that goes on with checking to make sure that this thing is indeed 4 degrees advanced, and also to find top dead center on the camshaft. This is what you go through when you're trying to get the best possible situation out of your build. Willie to No Box Garage. See ya. I had the music going in the garage, so I had to cut it out so I could show you this. Cam spec says we're supposed to be at 110. We're at 4 degrees advanced, so now we're at 106. Now, 106 is our new center line, so at plus 50, we're at 146 degrees. Back it up 50 again, we're at, 48 degrees. Add the two together, 194 divided by 2. We should be at 97 degrees on the wheel. And we go to the wheel, and boom! Oops, there it is. 97 degrees. Wonderful. Well, I think I got those numbers right. Put it down in the comments if you've done this before, if you think I got my numbers right, and I hope you learned something from this, got something from this that you can use in your own build. Willie for the No Box Garage. Thank you for liking, sharing, and subscribing. I will see you soon.